There's a new me coming out, and I got to live, and I want to give. I'm completely positive. I think it's time around. I'm just gonna do it, just like you knew it. I'm gonna make it through it. The time has come for me to break out of the shell. I've got to shout that I'm coming out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
Coming out,
Come out.
want the world to know. Gotta let it show.
I'm coming. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I've got to show the world all that I want to be, all my abilities. There's so much more to me. Somehow I'll make them just understand. I've got it well in hand. Oh, how I have planned. I'm spreading love. There is no need to fear. I feel so good every time I hear I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
Give it up for Will back here.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. You can sing. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
Let's break it down. I want to hear you all sing. Go.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
One more time, nice and loud.
I'm coming out. Coming
The world to know.
out.
Got to let it show.
I'm coming
I'm
out.
coming out. I
Coming
want the world to know.
out.
Got to let it show.
I'm coming out.
Well, that would certainly go along with the idea of, let people know where you show up on Sunday mornings. So, just listening to that song once again, I was reminded of Danny Ryan. Who was around with Danny Ryan? Long time ago. Yeah, a couple of people with Danny Ryan. When I first got here, I got here in 1988. Yeah, I know, been around. I was 12. I was the youngest senior minister in the movement. Actually, I was, but Danny Ryan was so cute, and he was so filled with life and enthusiasm. And think about it, in '88, we were in the midst of AIDS. Actors didn't get jobs if they came out as anything but straight. People had fake lives. Remember that? Remember that? We've come a long ways in that respect. But I remember Danny getting up on a stage like this. I was in the it was another story, another 4 or 5 incarnations of this place. And Danny got up and said, you know what? It is easier for me to say I'm gay than to say I'm spiritual. And I think this is the last frontier. Not to say I'm go to this church or, I've been saved, but that I believe in something that's greater than myself, that I have a relationship with. And I don't have to pigeonhole it like I'm a this or that or this or that or this. I'm just a spiritual person living a human existence. Anyway, thank you, Danny Ryan. He moved to Portland. Boy, he was a hoot. He was a hoot. I had to be on my toes to keep up with Danny Ryan. So the theme for this month is to have bold beginnings, and we can always begin again. Paul said that daily I die and daily I'm reborn. That makes sense, because we have to die to what we thought we did wrong yesterday. We also have to die to the stuff we did good. Want to know why? Because you can do better. Don't let good be the enemy of gooder. Don't let, I did that for a while. I so changed my life when I realized I was talking about miracles that had happened years ago. And they were big ones. I don't do fussy little tiny bit, big, huge stuff. And I was talking about them, I thought, where's the new miracle? Why isn't this happening all the time? It's because I wasn't expecting them. That's why I started a kind of a Facebook movement called Monday Miracles. And Monica and I, we used to call each other and go, Monday Miracle, Monday Miracle. Because spirit, if it's alive, if you're a spiritual person, then you would always be seeing the effects of spirit working in your life. Little ways, big ways, medium ways. See, spirit is like air. It's present. But you only know air's there when it moves. Then you feel it. And when spirit moves, you see it. It's like, oh, there's spirit again. There's spirit again. Today, I will begin 3 sessions on intentions. I've been talking about intentions for 25 years because I think it's a good way to start the year. And intentions are so powerful, and they're holy. They're holy. They're not goal setting. They're not resolutions. An intention, a high and holy intention, a big, hairy, audacious intention, BHAG, big, hairy, audacious intention, is something that your higher self, your true self, your soul, your heart, plants in your heart, and compels you to move towards, and actually sort of pulls you towards it and makes straight the way. It's not something you figure out. It's not a fix. It's like, I must go there. I got to go there. Now, honestly, I think it's God, a spirit's way of carroting you into a greater future. Now, you can either be led by a carrot, or you can be pushed by chaos and catastrophe. I'll take the carrot. So I've talked about these before. I'm just going to give you a few examples. I was in my 20s. I wanted to know what is going to have as a vocation, not a job. I wanted a vocation. Didn't that sound? Here's the problem with vocation. Did you know that vocation, the root word of vocation, means the call? That should have been a hint. Because I just heard you're going to be a minister. I didn't want to be a minister. And there was no way to be a minister in Eugene, Oregon, and everything opened up for me to come to Seattle. And in Seattle, at the Sunday that I showed up at a church like this, they announced that they were opening up a ministerial school. That Sunday. Intention pulls you and then makes straight your way. If you're working too hard, you may not have a high and holy intention. I've talked about me asking what I would do if I had 6 months to live, and it came to me, well, I'd travel. And I didn't have a passport. I never traveled outside of Oregon and Washington. I was like, well, how am I travel now. My husband says, you're traveling again? When are you going again? I wanted to not travel. I wanted to be a world traveler. And whoa, open up. Straight my way. There was a time that, in fact, I know when it was. I was doing a vision board, much like many of you can do downstairs today. And I found myself, and it had been years. It had been like 20 years since I'd done a vision board because they scared me. Because the last time I did a vision board, it was so powerful, I got the swimsuit, but not the body. I mean, really, out of nowhere, this swimsuit, I'm looking down and go, it's the swimsuit. And I divorced one man and married a man that looked just like the man in my vision board. I went from being married to a millionaire to a guy that did Ponzi schemes. I was afraid of vision boards. I wasn't going to do another one. No, it wasn't a Ponzi scheme. It was a pyramid. Anyway. I don't want to. But I was at CBEC, and there was this workshop, and I like doing artsy, this is what Tim calls it, artsy-fartsy stuff. Anyway, so I'm putting together this vision board, and I put a horse on it, and I go, oh my goodness, I'm going to get a horse. Because I had to put the horse on. In 3 weeks, I had 2 horses, and one was pregnant. See, and it was effortless. I didn't go looking for a horse. I was actually looking for something different. I mean, that's what an intention does. It pulls you into your greater yet to be, and the purpose for that is that to move in that direction, you have to change. It's like a birthing process where the Spirit just keeps moving and you grow, and you move 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 and you grow. They are so holy. And the bigger they are, and the more you think, how in the heck? The more you just keep them in your heart and be led. Pulled, not pushed. So that's what I'll be spending 3 weeks on. And for those of you who want help with it, I have an intentions workbook. It's downstairs. It's in the bookstore. But right now, what I want to talk about is not so much intentions, which will come next week, but I would love to talk about a foundation skill, which is knowing your purpose. To know your purpose. Purpose is why. When you know why of anything, the what, the how, and the who are drawn to you. Why is a magnet. So let me give you an idea about why. Your whats and your hows can be very unsatisfying if you don't know why. You're like, I want to entertain, or I want to have friends, or I want this, or I want that. If you don't know why, then all that stuff can show up, but it doesn't fill what you are really looking for. I really discovered this when I was in my 20s. I was living in Eugene, and I had a friend. I loved her, and she loved to throw parties. She would cook. She would plan 2 days worth of cooking, long before Costco, by scratch. Scratch hors d'oeuvres and scratch desserts and I think people were drinking, but I wasn't drinking, so it didn't matter. But I think they were drinking because they got much more fun. And I'm having a great time being with these people, but then I have to leave early. And then I would throw a party, and I'd do the same thing, and I hated it. When do they go home? When? And I realized that the why for me, if I was going to have a gathering, was to have an intimate conversation, get to know a person, and share what was important to each other. Our whys were different. Her why was entertain as many as possible, get meet and greet, have fun, make connections. Mine was have an intimate conversation. Same thing, a what? A party. Different whys. We had to go about it differently. Why is important? Ask yourself, why do I want this? Especially if you're pulled, it's either an addiction, you know. A lot of us can be pulled into stuff. Why are we doing this? Why do you do this? Why do you say this over and over again? Why are you still at that job? Why are you still in that relationship? Why do you need a relationship? See, I know that part of the reasons my marriage now works is I know why I want one. Before, I just wanted one because that's what a woman was supposed to have. You know this? No, now I know why. And that way, Spirit could fulfill that why through my marriage. But I want to talk about why you incarnated. Because when you know why you incarnated, then you know your holy, noble purpose for being here. Your noble purpose. Like we can have purposes, we can have whys, but a noble one is when it is so deep, it's like why I'm here fulfills everything for me. That's my noble purpose. Your divine purpose. The reason you incarnated. Now that is the key to satisfaction and fulfillment. It's the key to being content. It's the key to being truly happy. And then the what, the who, the why, and everything else will be attracted to you because you know why. See, a lot of people think that they're here by accident. I'm not you. But, you know, it was like, an egg and a sperm got together and there I was. Biologically, that's correct. But in the big scheme of things, we've been around this universal block a bunch of times. I'm not saying incarnation, I'm just saying that you were before you were. You existed before you incarnated. And whether you want to believe it or not, I'm going to share with you what I believe, because you don't have to believe what I believe. This is what I love about our teaching. I'm just going to throw stuff out there, and if you believe it, great. If not, that's great too. We will not, quiz you as you leave. Well, did you believe what she said? No. Emma's happy. We choose to incarnate, and we participate in setting it up in the way that we will incarnate, so that we will fulfill the purpose for us existing. We have a purpose for coming into this incarnation, and we set up what it takes to do that. Now, here's what it took for me to set it up. When I say there are no accidents, my mother would say that's wrong, because I was an accident. My mother and father got together once. Whoa! I really wanted them as parents. Now, being, in the 50s, they did get married, and they my father stayed around for 9 months so that I could have a legitimate birth. But if I'd done the math, I would have figured it out. I never did the math. But I got things from my mother and learned from her, and got things from my father that I learned from him, and those things came together so that I could have the background and the talents and the skills that it took for me to fulfill my purpose, my holy, noble purpose. And the same thing for you. And since I know that, when I'm on track with that, I'm full. No matter what the outside looks like, no matter what else is going on. When I'm not on track with that, I am not as full. And then I need things to fill me. I need stuff. I need distractions. I need outside validation. If you succumb to outside validation or the need of thereof, know your purpose. And that just falls away because you're on purpose. So how do you know your purpose? Well, so let me just say it this way. I put it on my Facebook page. I love it. Rachel's texting me. People who are online. Hello, everybody online. I don't know if I've got time to name you all, but I love you. Okay, purpose is the place where your deep gladness, because you love doing it, meets the world's needs. Now think of it this way. You incarnated with talents and skills, desires that are so natural to you, and where it meets the needs of the world, holy, noble purpose. There is satisfaction. There is fulfillment. There is contentment. There is a deep sense of, I'm trying to describe what I feel sometimes, and I can't even put it into words. Except everything is right inside me. There are ways to begin the process of knowing that, which is to ask yourself, number one, what are your superpowers? We all have superpowers. These are things that you do that are effortless. In fact, they're probably so effortless that you take them for granted. They're probably so effortless that you probably have to ask your friends what they are. Because it's like you can't even imagine yourself without them, so you don't even know that you have them. Effortless, superpower. Reverend Karen speaks to animals, effortless. Gary centers people, brings them into a zone, effortless. Kathy Lindsay, I talked about you last service, so I might as well do it again. Ease. Kathy does ease. If you want to get over it's hard, spend time with Kathy Lindsay. If you want to get over, oh my God, this is complicated, spend time with Kathy Lindsay. Kathy Lindsay has taken on a great and noble adventure, and she will do it, and it'll be easy. And because we do a Super Bowl, which is bring soup, beat hunger. She wants to get all the sports teams involved, all the football teams. I mean, come on. We're rooting for people to crush each other. Why not bring canned food? Why not have a real win? Why not feed a city for a year? Who the hell cares 3 weeks after somebody won? Except for some die-hard people we know. But what if we could feed a city for a year? Now, I don't think our congregation could do it, but what if all the Seahawks got involved? And you didn't go to a game without a can? Or packaged goods. And you know what? Kathy's on it, but she's going to make it easy. She's not fretting back there. What's your superpower? What comes so natural to you? One of mine is my intuition. I think people want me to talk to them, but they're also afraid for me to talk to them because I will know what button to push for your good. I know things. I just know things. I know. You know who I got that from? My daddy. I had to get my daddy together with my mom so that I could inherit not just his DNA and his looks and his Cherokee background. I had to be able to get from him also his emotional skill, which is the ability to know what's going on beyond himself. Bless that accident. What's your skill? What do you do so easily? Robert's back there. You know he can love anything and anybody. It's just a skill. To use that to create a better world will fill you up more than all the accolades, the raises, the successes. Also, you can look at what you end up doing that you always want to do. Like what do you do naturally? In fact, you do it everywhere. You're just pulled to it. I was pulled to two things from my very early, from wee girl. I was pulled to horses. I was so lucky. I was raised at a time that there were a lot of westerns on the TV. I got to see horses. I didn't care about I just wanted to see the horses. I wanted to get up and touch horses. I wanted to go to parades to watch horses. I wanted to have pictures of horses everywhere. I was pulled to horses. And also talking about God. I remember having conversations about God. Now, which is really strange because I was born into agnostic atheist families. They didn't talk about God. They wondered, you've heard about demon seed. They're wondering, what the hell seed is this? Tell me about God. Explain to me Genesis. So that's what I was going to do. I was always going to look at horses, always look at barns, and I'm always talking about God. I talked about God when I was working for the March of Dimes. I talked about God when I was working for the phone company. No wonder something said you're going to be a minister. So that I could do what I wanted to do in a way that I could help people grow closer to their God, therefore eliminating the suffering in the world. Because when you know God, you do not suffer. You go through stuff, but you don't suffer. Even Buddha said suffering is an option. Stuff happens, suffering is an option. So then let's do the third part. One of the things that's in this book is an opportunity for you to write down all the stuff you think is messed up in the world. Things are messed up in the world. How many of you know that there's at least one thing messed up in the world? Have you seen one? What if you wrote them all down, just got them all out? Because if I say what's messed up in the world, you include so many things. And the mind is like, I've been counting. So let the mind just have the mind's way and just let it write everything down. But if you read over that list, one of those things will come out at you. You'll either cry or you'll get mad or you'll get sick. And that's where you're called to contribute. That's where you take what you incarnated with and you bring it to a world that needs you. Now, this may or may not show up as an occupation or a vocation. Doesn't matter. It may start out as just a vocation and then become an occupation. Not a vocation, but a hobby or something on the side. I was just, had an email, and you might be watching from Silverdale, but one of our congregants did a retreat where we talked about purpose, and what she realized is that she really wanted to work with animals to make the life of animals better, and it wasn't Karen. And she didn't know how that was going to happen, and yet, by knowing her purpose and setting that intention, everything started to open up. And she went from working for a government company to them doing weird things like letting her work 3 days a week, which was new at that time. And then she started drawing animals she'd never drawn before. She started pet sitting and pet walking, and then she had a company where she hired all these people to do it. She just sold her company. What started out as a little thing became a big thing. I know someone who incarnated and had this experience of why she incarnated, and it was to be a mother. And even though she had lost her own child, she attracts to her young people who, because of their identification, need a mother. And so she earns money and she goes on trips, but her purpose is to be a presence of love for those people who don't know that. So maybe living on purpose is your side hustle. Or maybe living on purpose is what you do, and what you do for a job is your side hustle. It doesn't matter. But one is really fulfilling. One is really fulfilling. And it makes all the difference. Buddha said, if I can find it, I've got tears in my eyes, it's hard to read. Buddha said, your work is to discover your work. And then with all your heart, give yourself to it. But he didn't mean work like as in job. He means, what's your work in the world? Discover that. There I am. Oh, I love you, Guy. You're such a miracle worker. Okay, I take it back. No. I take it back. Your work is discover what your noble purpose is, why you incarnated. Share that with the world, and you will reap benefits that go way beyond what society measures. And it will be soul-filling, soul-filling. So maybe I was thinking about that song, I'm Coming Out. I'm coming out. I'm gonna do my work. I'm gonna serve God. Well, yeah, when they sing, it goes away. Yeah. I think that there's an upper critic, maybe. All right, let's pray. I just give thanks that right now, right here, we begin the process of knowing our noble purpose, claiming it, realizing it, being good at it, and fulfilling it. Hallelujah. And so it is.